So like, as I said before, we're going to be using equations to solve problems. Your favorite part of the homework, word problems. Okay, so far, last time we showed you how to solve equations. Guess what? We're going to come up with the equations for these word problems, okay, and you're going to be solving them, okay? Do you guys remember how to solve word problems? You have to do how many steps? 5. Very good. What was the first step of those? Whenever you have word problems, we have 5-step plan. What's the first step? Yes, sir. Before you define the variable, yes, sir. Declare. That's the same thing. Defining the variable. Yes. You find the unknowns by reading. You have to read the problem. Okay. So as you read, you have to find the unknowns. No, that's important. You have to know what the unknowns are, right, in that problem. Second part is declare your variable. Okay. Third part is what? What's the third step? Anybody remember? Yes, sir?
Write down the equation.
Write down the equation. You have to write the equation, of course, using the formulas, right? Some of these formulas are pretty straightforward. Okay, then you do what next? After you come up with the equation, of course, what are you going to do with the equation now? Step 4 is to, yes, sir?
I don't know, I'm guessing simplify.
Not quite. We don't simplify. We do simplify equations, but ultimately, what do we want to do with the equations? We want to, yes, we want to solve, right? You solve the equation. That's your fourth step. Then the last step is you write the answer as a sentence. You write the answer as a sentence to answer the question that they're asking. And of course, when you have time, you check the answer and see if you have the right answer. Do you guys remember this? That's the 5-step plan, right? Well, we'll learn that right now, okay? We'll go over that right now. Okay, so here, write down this problem. Burger sold 495 hamburgers today.
You write it down?
Yes, sir, you write this down. Yeah, you write, so for your homework, you don't have to write these down, but the ones we do in class, you need to write it down, okay? The number sold with cheese was half the number sold without cheese. How many of each kinds were sold? Is the question. Write it down. I'll give you time, okay? Go ahead. Okay, so as you all wrote this down, think about how many unknowns there are. Show me with your fingers how many unknowns this problem is talking about, okay? I see. Okay, I want 100% participation. Some of you don't have your hand. With your fingers, tell me how many unknowns there are in this problem. Okay? Put away the book. You don't need that. Okay, okay, good. Claire, what do you think? How many unknowns do you see? 3? No, not 3. There are only, how about, okay. Carly, what do you think? There are 2. What are the 2 unknowns here in this problem? How about, okay. Samara. The cheese hamburger and the one without cheese, but you got to be a little bit more specific. What about cheese hamburger? Like, is it color of the hamburger or what you have to say? We're interested in. What about hamburger with cheese? Yeah, the number of them, right? You got to be specific. So we want to know how many, right, hamburgers were sold with cheese and how many hamburgers were sold without cheese. So number of hamburgers is what we're interested in. Remember I told you have to be specific here when you declare your variable? Yes.
How does this gonna work? Is it
Odd number? It could be odd number. You find out. Well, okay. Right, yeah, watch that. Okay, good question. Now, let's think about this now. Remember when we declare our variable? First of all, which one was sold more? With cheese or without cheese? Are they both same? It says the number sold with cheese was half of the number sold without cheese. So do we sell more? Which one do we sell more of? Without cheese. So that means what was sold less? With cheese. Cheese with cheese are more expensive maybe, right? They charge you like 25 cents or something. But so the number with cheese was sold less. Now, we have a choice. We could declare our variable, let x to be the one with cheese, or should we do one for one without cheese? What do you guys think? When you declare a variable, we want to declare a variable for a smaller amount or the larger amount? Smaller amount. So which one is a smaller amount? The one with cheese, right? Probably right? So guess what? We're going to let x to be, anybody know what to write? Yes, one person? Come on. It's only one. Okay, yeah, over here. How about Lindsay?
Let X represent how much cheese, how many burgers cheese on it.
Exactly. Let X to be the number of burgers with cheese that was sold, or something like that. Okay. So write that down. Whoops. Write this down. Okay. Because whenever we have a choice, we want to declare a variable for a smaller amount, right? Because we don't like to subtract or divide. You know what I mean? So we want it for X to be number of burgers with cheese. Now, could you have done it with the other way? The answer is yes, but this will be easier. Okay. Good. Now, what is then? I want you to all think about this. I want you to think as a group. We have two unknowns, right? What's the other unknown? Number of burger, what? Without cheese. That should go in here next. So how would you, now how many variables could you use during first, only one variable. A lot of people were using two. You can't just let y be number of, that we're going to learn that during second semester. So how would you use that one variable x to represent the other unknown? Go ahead, everybody think about this. I'll wait. Okay, as a group, help each other out. What do you guys think? Everybody discuss and see whether you can figure this out as a group. Okay, go ahead. Dana, what did you guys come up with for the number of burgers without cheese? How would you represent the number of burgers without cheese using x?
Then 2x.
How many people agree? She said 2x. Let 2x be. Very good. Did anybody put down x over 2? This will be 2x is right. How come it's 2x? Doesn't it say the number sold with cheese was half of the number sold without cheese? So shouldn't we be dividing this or something? Why would you write 2x? Okay, very good. Okay, some of you see it. Tajwar, what do you think?
Because it's half the number sold without cheese, but we're doing it the other way, so it's 2.
Right, you gotta think the other way because we have declared a variable for the smaller amount, right, Livy? So since we have to declare a variable for the smaller amount, you have to say 2x is the other. Does that make sense? So do you all see why it's 2x, not x over 2? Now, if you did it the other way, if you let x to be the number of burgers without cheese, then you could say x over 2 will be the number of burger with cheese. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
If you did it that way, you also write 1/2 x.
Yeah, 1/2 x is the same as x over 2. Very good. But if you do it that way, which way will be easier? This way or using it the other way? This way, because remember I told you it's easier if you can to declare a variable for a smaller amount than the larger amount. Does that make sense? Now, we're ready for step 3. What is step 3 again, Michael? Exactly. Step 3 is coming up with an equation, and the formula for this is really easy, right? We don't probably have to don't write it, right? Because how do you find total number of burgers that was sold? You add number of burgers that was sold with cheese plus number of burgers that was sold without cheese, right? So you just add them together. Michael, you're right. What do I write again? Can you tell me?
X plus 2x equals 495.
Yeah, exactly. So I said total number of burgers sold was number of burger with cheese plus number of burger without cheese. For this formula, you probably could skip this one, but so you get 495 equals x plus 2x. Can you all solve this equation? This is very simple, isn't it? Go ahead. I'll wait. Go ahead. Right. You don't have to write it down this formula, but where does the equation come from? It's because of the formula, right? Okay, good. Okay. So how about Carolyn? What did you write? Next step will be
I added 2x.
which you get is what?
3x.
That's right. And why do we get 3x again? This is sort of a review, right? It's 1x plus 2x is x is really 1x, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could use what property am I using from here to here? I'm using. How am I getting 1 plus 2 times x here? What property am I using here? Distributive property, backwards, right? But a lot of you know already x plus 2x is 3x because x is really 1x, right? Okay, so we divide both sides by then what, class? 3. How many people got the answer 165? Raise your hand. Very good. Now, how do I, Angel, how do I get then the other amount? Because I know then x represents the cheese with cheese, the number of burgers with cheese, right? How do I get the other amount? You multiply by 2, exactly right. How did you know to multiply by 2? Yeah, because look back. How do we declare our variable? Didn't we say if x is the number of burger with cheese, which is what we've just found, then 2x is number of burger without cheese, right? So if you have 165, if you multiply 2x, you get 330, don't you?
Or if you subtract 165
You could also subtract, because there are only two things you're adding. 495 minus 165 should also give you 330. Very good. You could do it that way. Very good. So, are we done? Is this how we finish? Not quite. Samuel, what do you think? How should we finish this? Right. So write as a sentence, right? How would you write this as a sentence? So you would say the number of burgers sold with cheese was 165 and without cheese was 330. That's exactly right. So that's all you have to write, okay? As the last step, step 5, you see I wrote step 5 on the left side. They sold 165 burgers with cheese and 330 burgers without cheese. And that's how we got 330, because remember we said then 2x is equal to 330, right? If you multiply 2 times the x, it gives you the number of burgers without cheese. And could we check really quickly?
Yeah.
How do we check here? Yes, Chuck?
You can put in, you plug in x in the formula. You plug in x.
Yeah, you could plug in x into the original formula.
Or not the formula, the problem.
Yeah, equation, original equation. Or you could just do what? 165 times plus 330 should equal to 495, because we just said 2 times 165 was 330, right? So you could just check it that way really quickly. Does that make sense? Because when you add them up, right, it should equal to 495. Yes, sir. How do we get 330? Who could answer that one? How about Camila? Yeah, you multiply 2 to 2x. You multiply 2 to x here, right? That's how we get. Because when we say twice the, right here, if x is number of burger with cheese, then isn't twice x the numbers of burgers without cheese?
So how do you set it up?
How do you set it up?
On the equation, how would you do it?
What do you mean? This is the equation right here, right? So we solve for x. Once you know x, you could always figure out 2x, can we? You multiply x times 2, 330. Does that make sense? Yeah? You sure? Okay, so after I got x, right, I said, okay, then 2 times x is 330. That's the one without cheese. Because isn't that what we said in the very beginning when we declare our variable? Yes?
Could you also do 495 minus 160?
Yeah, that works because we only have 2 items. You're right. You could do it that way. But this works too, doesn't it? Okay, may I go to the second example then? All right, good. Here's example 2. It says Tom has read 143 pages of 251 pages in a book. If he reads 12 pages a day, how long will it take him to finish the book? Is the question. Okay. Go ahead and write it down. Okay, good. All right, so with your finger, how many unknowns do we have in this problem? Show me with your finger how many unknowns. Okay. What do you guys? I want everyone to participate. 100% participation. What do you think, sir? You haven't? I don't see it. How many unknowns do we have in this problem? Yeah. 2. How do you say 2? What are the 2 unknowns? What did you say 2? Can you tell me one of the unknowns that you thought it wasn't? How long what? Sure. How many days really, right? How many days would it take them to finish? Right? That's one of the unknowns. What's the other unknown then? Tom, what's the other unknown that you? Okay, that's one of them. Is there another unknown? Michael, can you help him out? How many what? How many pages? Is that what you meant, Tom? Is that what you said too? Okay, is that really unknown? How many pages there were left? I guess you don't really need to declare a variable for that one because you can actually figure this out. Can't you, Michael? Because there are 251 pages and he has already read 143 pages. You could actually figure that out. So now, since we could figure that out, do you all see that there's only one unknown? Yes. Because all you need to know is, the unknown that we need to figure out is how many days it will take him to finish. Does that make sense? So we're going to let x to be what, class? Number of
Number of
days it will take him to finish. Exactly right. Okay? And I see what you mean by the other could be other unknown, but you could actually figure this out from the problem, right? How many pages there are left, okay? Very good. So write that down. And of course now we're ready for step 3. We have to come up with an equation. Okay, so what sort of equations would you have? 1, 2, people see it? I'll give you some time. Why don't you think about it? Okay, go ahead. What do you think? So if this is the unknown, this is the one unknown that we need to figure out, how do we then come up with an equation? Go ahead, everybody think about it. So guys, remember, equation means an expression equals another expression. Some of you actually wrote down how you get the answer. Okay, that's fine, but we want to come up with an equation, right? That's why we're in this algebra class, right? Algebra, not just, I know that some of you could do this in your head. Okay, oh, don't you have to do certain things? But I want to come up with an equation. So left side, right, you have to have an expression equal to another expression. How can we do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kevin, what do you think, sir?
It would be 251 pages equals,
You could do it that way. Hold on. 251 pages equal to?
equals to,
So that's total number of pages, right? That's going to equal to what?
going to equal to, 143 pages plus, 4 plus x.
Exactly. Could we do it that way? Isn't the total number of pages equal to how many pages he has already read plus number of pages he needs to read, which is 12 times x, right? Did anybody do it a little bit differently than that? That's totally fine. That's good. Anybody did it a little bit differently? Because it doesn't really matter. How about Bella? What do you think?
12x equals 251 minus 200.
Yeah, you said 12x equals to 251 minus 143. That works too, because if you do 251 minus 143, that tells you how many pages? That's what? That's left, right? He has to read, of course. Then, since you're reading 12 pages a day, 12 times x will give you how many? So exactly. So I came out with this. Is this okay?
Yeah.
And could you do it like what Kevin did? 251 equals to 12x plus 143. Is that okay? That's totally fine. Those are equivalent equations, aren't they? They all have the same solution. Spencer, did you have something to say?
Don't you also do 251 minus 143 divided by 12?
Yeah, that's what you're gonna do to actually solve for x. So, but does this work also? Yeah. Yes, Dana.
Do you have to do the formula?
Yeah, for this one, yeah, I guess you could do the formula. You could, if you're doing what Kevin did, that may work the best, right? Total number of pages in the book is equal to how many pages you read minus, plus 12 times x. How many pages he's gonna read for each day. But yeah, I just did it without, because it's sort of simple. Is that okay? Now, can you solve? Go ahead, I'll give you some time. You all solve. Okay. So let's move on. Okay, so I wrote down the formula for you if you, so some of you asked. Okay, so it's total number of page minus number of pages that are read equals to number of pages left, right? So you could do that if you wanted to. But this one, you don't really have to put that one. Okay, so what do we do next here? How about, who haven't I called? Angel? What do you think? What do I get on the left side? 108 equals to 12x. Did you all get this? And of course, what do we do next here? How about Sammy? How do I get the x by itself?
Divided by 12.
You got it. You divide both sides by 12. And when we do, what do we get there? How about Brianna? You got it. X equals to 9. Am I done with this? No, that's just solving equations. You don't leave it this way when there's a word problem, right? You have to write as a sentence. You have to answer the question that it's asking. How should we write this? Patty, what should I write?
It'll take them 9 days to finish the book.
Exactly. It'll take 9 days to finish the book. Does that make sense? Is there a way to check and see whether we got this right quickly? How do we check? Yeah, how do we check this? Yeah. Carolyn?
You plug the 9 back into
Yeah, you plug in 9 back into the equation right up here. And 108 should equal to 12 times 9, right? And it does, right? Yes, sir. Question?
Should you switch the 9 and x?
Oh, yeah. You should write x first. Same thing, right? What property tells you that you could write it the other way? So we get 9 equals to x, and we could write x equals to 9. What property tells you that you could do it this way? Who remembers? Let's see. Yes, Dana? How many people agree? How many people agree that it's symmetric property of equality? How many of you think it's something else, some other property? What do you think? Reflexive? Reflexive is if x equals to x. It's the same thing equals the same thing. So she's right, it is symmetric. Okay, so any question? Remember, symmetric is if a equals to b, then b equals to a. So by symmetric property, you could write it that way. May I go to the next problem then? Any question? Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let's go to the next problem. Here we go. This problem is really short. Find 5 consecutive integers whose sum is 195. Okay, so remember consecutive integers? We talked about this, right? In chapter 2 and so forth. Can you then, I bet you could just do it yourself. I'm going to have you declare your variable. By the way, how many variables? I mean, not variables. How many unknowns do we have in this? Show me with your fingers. How many unknowns? Good. Okay, some of you are still writing. Can you stop writing? Eugene, what do you think? How many unknowns do we have in this problem? 5, exactly right. And what are these unknowns, class? Those are the
Consecutive
5 consecutive integers. Is that right? Very good. And how many variables could we use? Only one. Okay, so we could use actually one variable to represent all 5. Okay, so why don't you all do that? Let me give you some time to do that because you should all know how to do that right now. Okay? All right, Mimi, tell me how to then declare my first variable. What do I say? What word do I have to use? Let x equals to
This is so easy.
the first. That's exactly right. How many people did this? Let x to be the first consecutive integer. Good. Now for the next one, how many people wrote down then? Did you all use then? Then, good. Then x plus 2 equals the second. How many people wrote that down? X plus 2, right?
No.
That's how you get it wrong. When do we use x plus 2, x plus 4 in those? That's 4? Yes. Even and odd. Okay. I cannot tell you even on the test. People, I said consecutive numbers, but you guys use x plus 1, x, and then you did x plus 2 and so forth. That's okay. So okay, good. So Chuck, what did we write? Not x plus 2, but x plus 1 is your. Yeah. Don't do x plus 2. Those are only for the odds and even. Okay. Then of course, x plus 2 is your third, x plus 3 is your fourth, and x plus 4 is your fifth. By the way, because people wrote fifth, they wrote 5 here. Is that okay? No. Notice, how come we don't, why isn't the second consecutive integer x plus 2 and third consecutive integer x plus 3? Why do we do it this way? How come it's one less? Yeah.
So that's how the road works.
Say what?
That's how it works.
That's how it works. In other words, and why does it work this way? Because yes.
Because x has x is.
Yeah, because x is the first one, right? That's your first one. So therefore x plus 1 is your second. Does that make sense? So some people see this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and they write it on the next to it. That's not correct, okay? Actually one less than that, right? Because we're starting with x. Does that make sense? Yeah, a lot of people mess that up too. Like because they see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they wrote x plus 1 for the first one. No, x is your first, x plus 1 is your second, and so forth. Is that okay? Now, let's write the equation. Are you ready for the equation? Who could tell me what the equation is? By the way, what's the formula? This is easy. It says sum is 195, so yeah. Yeah, first number plus second number plus, first through all fifth, you add them all together, it's 195. Who can tell me what to write? How about, I haven't called. How about, let's see, hold on, I haven't called. Paige, can you tell me what to write?
Right, like x plus first consecutive integer plus the second consecutive integer, third, and then
Right, that's the formula, right? Very good. So then Aiden, tell me what to write. Actually, the equation. Yeah, x plus. Uh-huh.
X plus 1
Uh-huh.
plus x plus 2 plus
Right.
x
Equals to 195. That's important. You have to make it equal to 195. Otherwise, would that be an equation? No. Okay, so I wrote it this way. Do you think it's a good idea to use parentheses?
Yes.
Yeah, because I am, right? These are my first consecutive integer, second, third, fourth, fifth, right? you understand? Very good. Now, of course, when you're actually going to solve this, what is in front of a bunch of these parentheses? All these parentheses, there's invisible 1. And when you distribute invisible 1, what happens? Parentheses go away, but you get the same exact expression, right? So, could we just write it this way? X plus 1, right? X plus 2, X plus 3, X plus 4. Does that make sense? Because you're really distributing 1 to each of these each of these binomials, right? So the parentheses go away. Now, Royce, what do I get? How many x's do I have? 5. So what does it turn into when you simplify the left side?
5x
Plus
10.
10 equals to
195.
195. How many people got this so far? 5x plus 10 equals good. Okay, if you didn't, go ahead and fix your mistakes, okay? Any questions so far? Now can you solve this? Go ahead, everybody try. I'll give you a little time. I think most of you are already done. But here, I'll give you some time. Finish it, okay? Okay, so next we had 5x plus 10 equals 195. Of course, what are we going to do next year? Eugene, tell me what to write.
Subtract 10.
Yeah, subtract 10 from both sides. Then you get 5x equals to 185. Then Jenny, what are we going to do? Divide both sides by 5. And when we do divide both sides by 5, what do we get? How about Brandon? What do we get when we divide both sides by 5? 21. 21? I don't think you get 21. You get 5 goes into 18 how many times? 3 times, right? And then you are left with 35, so it should be, yeah, you should get 37. How many got 37? That's the x. Very good. Very good. Now, am I done? No. How many numbers do they want? Should you write 5 of them? So I know the first one. Can you figure out the second one? What's the second one?
38.
30. How do you know that?
Because
They are, raise your hand, they are, what kind of numbers are these? Yes, sir.
consecutive integers.
Consecutive integers. And you know how we declare our variable? If you know x, right here, you just keep adding 1 to it, right? So the second number is going to be, we got the first number as 37, what's the second number?
38.
Then there's going to be 39, 40, and 41. And there it is, okay? So you have to write this as a sentence. 5 consecutive integers are 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. And it's easy, right? Since they're consecutive numbers, if you know the first one, right, you just keep adding 1 to it. Is that right? Is there a way to check and see whether we got this right?
Yeah.
How do we check this? How do we check? You could plug into the original equation, yeah, but really, what can you do here? Samara, you add all of them. You add all of them, it should equal to what? 195. And does it equal to 195? Yeah, it does, okay? 37, 38, 39. It does equal to 195. Do you see how you get, okay, of course you should box your answer, something like this. Box it or circle it, however you want. Any question? Easy?
Yeah.
All right, let's do one last one here, okay? Yeah, this last one is interesting, okay? Here is the last one. In any triangle, did you guys know that sum of all the angles of a triangle is always?
100.
Very good, you guys knew that, okay? They even told you that already. Even if we know this, they told us. Okay, in triangle ABC then, A is 3 times as large as B, and also 16 degrees larger than angle C. Okay? And of course the question is, find the measure of each angle. So write this down. It says in any triangle, the sum of measure of the angle is 180. We all know that, okay? In triangle ABC then, A is 3 times as large as B, and also 16 degrees larger than C. Find the measure of each angle is the question. And as you write this down, think about how many unknowns we have in this, okay? I'll wait for you to write. With your fingers, how many unknowns do you see in this? I want everyone to participate. 100% participation, right? Let me see. How many unknowns? Brianna, what do you think? Oh, okay, I see it. Okay. Okay, I see you. What do you think, Ben? 3 is correct. You all had your okay. I think all of you had 3 fingers. Okay, good. So there are 3 unknowns. Okay, of course, what are they? They are the measures of angle A, B, and C. Now, look at the problem. Which one should we declare for x? Let x to be which angle? Remember, we want the angle that's smaller. So look at the first sentence. It says, A is 3 times as large as B. So which one's bigger, A or B? A is bigger. So we want a smaller amount. Which one's smaller? B. So let x to be the measure angle. B is correct. That's what we do.
So
Okay.
B is larger than C.
I'm sorry?
So B is larger than C.
Hold on.
Oh, no, A is
Yeah,
larger
yeah.
than C.
Okay, so watch this. Okay. So if we let x to be the measure of B, then what do we know about angle A? What did they say? A is what? So, Aaron, A is what?
A is 3 times G or 16 plus
So first of all, A is what? How much larger than B? 3 times. So what are we gonna say? Then, if we said let x to be the measure of B, then what? 3 times,
B equals measure of
which is 3 times x, right? Exactly. Does that make sense? Would you agree? By the way, I even have a picture of this triangle. It's sort of nice to have a picture. Right? Okay. Now, then, what do they mean by and also? Which one is also? What do they mean? A or B? A. It's just A is 3 times as large as B, and also. So A is also. What's it mean? A is also 6 degrees larger than C. Which one is? So what's that mean? So how do we declare our? So the last one that we need to declare our variable for is the what? Measure of angle C, correct? So how can we represent measure of angle C if they told us that A is 16 degrees larger than C? Then C is what? If A is 16 degrees larger than C, C is 16 degrees smaller than A. Isn't that what they mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we do that? Dakota. 3x minus. How many people think it was 3x minus 16? Where did we get 3x from?
The measurement
That's
of
measurement of angle A. Exactly right. If A is 16 degrees larger than C, C is then of course 16 degrees less than A, right? And we know what A is. It's 3x, right? So therefore, if you were to subtract 16 degrees from A, you get the measurement angle C. Does that make sense, guys? Right? Guess what? A lot of people mess up on this question. They write, instead of 3x minus 16, they write 3x plus 16 because they only see 16 degrees larger. But which one's larger? A is larger than C. Therefore, C is 16 degrees less than A. Does that make sense? Please, you gotta make that little change there. Now, the equation is really simple because all you have to do is add up all the angles. You should equal to 180. They told us in the very beginning, and we already knew that. Isn't that what we get? X. Here's the equation. Step 3. This is step 2. So x plus 3x minus 16 gives you 180. This is not my angle A, right? This is measure angle A, measure angle B, measure angle C. You gotta add those 3 things together. Can you solve for x?
Yeah.
And once you know x, can you figure out the rest?
Yeah.
Yeah, all you have to do is what? Plug it in, right? Okay. Go ahead, everybody try. How many people got x equals to 28?
Yeah.
Very good. Now, if you know x is 28, guys, hold on. X equals 28, then 3 times x is equal to 84. And if you do 3 times x minus 16, isn't that 68?
Yes.
The answer is what? 28, 84, and 68. Right? Those are the measures in each angle. Any questions? Any questions? All right, good.